And my special guest, I'm hoping to have a special guest here with me today, Leigh Mackenzie, the Church Girl Ride. She's one of the top mommy bloggers, Christian mommy bloggers on the internet. And God's just blessing her in incredible ways. And she really has a heart to strengthen and encourage women in the church to discover how powerful it is when we resist the temptation to compare ourselves. The Bible says when you compare yourselves among yourselves, it's not wise. Hey, if you're hearing me okay, can you do me a favor and throw up some hearts? After what we went through last week with Facebook crashing and her and I were pouring out our hearts, we had no idea that the screen was black. So if you can hear me, could you throw up some hearts? Okay, great. I appreciate that so much. Want to kind of share what's going on, and then hopefully we can bring my special guest on and we can talk about the importance of spurring one another on, cheering for one another, wanting to see women in ministry and in the church succeed. See, men understand this. Men are socialized from a very young age to be part of a team. And they understand that if they have a team and all of a sudden the star quarterback shows up, that's great news for your team. It means you're going to win. One of my favorite movies is Invincible. I love that movie. It's a true story about the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'm already loving it. And I love sports movies and war movies. I'm so feminine. How can you stand it? And there's this scene where it's about a bartender from South Philly who tries out for the Philadelphia Eagles, and spoiler alert, he makes the team. But anyway, while he's in training and trying to make the team, the friends on this amateur football team, they kind of use his help. But, is he too important? Is he too busy for them? And he shows up. And they're like, oh no, look who came to help our team. And they're thrilled. They're like, yes, we've got this professional player here to help us. And they're thrilled because men are socialized to understand from a young age that when you've got a superstar in the midst, that's good news. That means everybody wins. That means it elevates everybody's game. Everybody shows up in a bigger way. Everybody wins. Everybody celebrates. But unfortunately, women, come on, girl, I'm just bringing it. If you're hearing me, show me some love. I hope I'm not preaching to myself today because I'm bringing some truth here. You hearing me? Hit the love button. Okay, good. I was a little nervous that Facebook had intervened there again. Thank you. Women, especially women in the church, tend to view other women as a threat. So that if you're at the church and all of a sudden some incredibly gifted, talented, superstar woman shows up, rather than all the women saying, yes, we're all going to elevate our game, win, there's a temptation. And some of you have lived this. Like, we're going to have to cut that woman down to size. We're not going to cheer for her. We're going to have to compete against her. And my guest today has some really fascinating insights into this. She's going to be bringing you 7 tips that you can use to overcome the green-eyed monster. And she's actually I've helped her because we're not competing, we're cooperating, and I helped her and spurred her on. And so she's got a free little booklet that she's going to make available to you. And I'm going to bring her on in a minute. I do want to make a couple of announcements. It looks like she's here. Pray that the technology cooperates, because she had tried to join me last week and Facebook crashed. She tried to join me earlier today and her computer was glitchy. So hopefully she's found a place with great internet and good reception. Guys, listen, here's what happened, okay? I'm just full disclosure. Don't let me finish before you add your comments, okay? Because I know what you're going to say, because it's the same thing I would say. Okay. Last night I was ambushed. Someone reached out to me posing as a Christian podcaster and said they were so excited to interview me and have me on their show. I was going to talk about my new book, The Special Blessings Prayer. And I got on the podcast, and it took me a few minutes to figure out it was an ambush. And his mission was to mock the Bible, mock my beliefs, and try to make a fool of me. And I know what you're going to say. Well, here's what you're going to say. You're going to say, you know, Donna, if you had done a little bit of research, you would have found out that this is what he does, that he's a rabid atheist and he plays this game. And I could have, and you are right. You are 100% right. But I was naive. And I'm kind of, you guys know, I'm crazy busy, right? I'm leaving the country in 7 days. I'll be back for 4 days, leaving the country again. I'll be back for a couple weeks. Please don't hit the angry man, because that makes Facebook think you're angry at me. Please don't hit the angry man. Please don't hit the angry man. Please don't hit the angry man. Please. It makes Facebook think I'm making you angry. Please don't hit the angry man. Thank you. Then I'll be gone, I'm gone for the rest of the year. I'm going to be in Costa Rica, then I'm going to be in Israel, then I'm going to be in Jordan, then I'm going to be in Brazil for an undetermined amount of time. So I'm just crazy busy. That's my excuse. And so I didn't do a background check, and I just naively believed that he was sincere. And I know that God is bigger, but I'm asking you to stand with me. No, the podcast hasn't aired yet. First of all, can we pray that it doesn't, that he's convicted, and that he doesn't, but my guess is that he will. My guess is that his intention is to send an army of atheists against me and against my book, The Special Blessings Prayer. And so I'm asking you to help me, lift up on Amazon a defensive wall of protection, so that if that onslaught comes, we're ready for it and we have some defense against it. If you could go to donnapartow.com/blessed. If you've read the book, write a review. If you haven't read the book, thumbs up, and just click helpful on all of the positive 5-star reviews. If these hit, you click the button report abuse. And if enough people hit report abuse on enough of these, that will mitigate against it. But I really appreciate your prayers. And that's the other thing I want to say. I used to have a prayer team, and I'm not good at managing stuff, so I kind of let it drop off. I need a prayer team. This has humbled me and dealt with my false humility. I need a prayer team. And it's not up yet, but I promise it will be within the next couple hours. This link will be live. If you go to donnapartow.com/prayer team, donnapartow.com/prayer team, I'm going to start a prayer team. I'm going to start a prayer team. I had one and I didn't keep up with it, and I hate to ask for prayer. I don't want to bother anyone. I'm supposed to pray for other people. I'm not supposed to ask for prayer. And that's just false humility and pride. It's just pride. Donna, it's just pride. It's pride and self-sufficiency masquerading as false humility. That's what that is. So you guys have figured me out. So donnapartow.com/prayer team, and I will keep you guys informed. And just pray, God, I even just pray right now that you would convict this man. That and someone gave me Psalm 34. I did nothing against him. I did nothing to harm him, and endeavor to treat him respectfully and kindly. And I pray, Holy Spirit, that you would bring conviction upon his heart, and that he would choose not to air this episode. And I stand in agreement with me that he won't do it. And Lord, if he chooses to air it, I pray that it would boomerang, and that what he intends to curse me would actually be a blessing for your kingdom and for your glory. I'm not afraid to be a fool for you, God. I'm not afraid to be a fool for Christ. And I just pray, Lord, for your... I'm sorry, I didn't think I'd get emotional. I'm sorry. Whew, wow. So God, whatever happens, I believe that you're going to use it for good. So you're worth it. That's the thing. He's worth it. But yes, I was naive, so don't even post it. Don't even post it. Okay? Because I already admitted it. I need a personal assistant That's the other thing I'm humbling myself to say. I need a personal assistant. I need like a college intern, especially I'm going to be out of the country for months on the mission field. I need someone who screens my email, who handles my messenger inbox, who does all that stuff and shields me from all this insanity. So just pray that God would give me wisdom. And I'm not one for managing people, but I need to step up my game. The last thing I want to tell you is that this week's episode is brought to you by the Special Blessings Prayer. And you can get the book at donnapartow.com/blessed. And I'm offering the class for free. I've never done this. Well, I haven't done it in years. I did it back in 2008 and 2009. That's how I actually started online in 2008. I said, Tammy Maltby, world famous superstar in the house. She had me on her famous TV show, Aspiring Women. She's so glamorous. She's so fabulous. And she's here at my humble little show. So I'm just cheering her on as she's cheering me on. So praise the Lord for that. And so I did it back in 2008, 2009. I'm doing it again right now. If you buy the book, just go to specialblessingsprayer.com, specialblessingsprayer.com, and you can find out all about that. If you get the book, like if you have Kindle Unlimited, the book's free, right? In that case, I ask that you make a donation. No one's going to be checking up on you, but there you have it. So with that, I'm going to see if Facebook will let me have my girl crush. Woohoo! Come on, Jesus in everything. I see you.
Did it work?
Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Looks like you might. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, baby.
It's really glitchy. Is it the same phone, the same place, the same internet that you used last week when everything was perfect?
Are we speaking still?
Not working.
On it. Something just doesn't want to get together. Are we there
I can
now?
hear you now.
Hi, honey.
Are you in the same place you were last week?
I haven't moved.
Are you in the same place you were last week?
I'm in a different state now.
Oh, that's why. That's why.
There you are. I see
We
you.
tested it from your house.
Yes, we did. I'm in Grand Rapids today. Hi, lovely darling.
That's why. You're on the road.
Don't
I didn't know
move.
if it's going to work.
Okay, we'll see.
Hello,
darling.
We'll give it a try.
Look at no earrings.
Well,
Are you
I'm
proud
glad
of me?
that you're joining me. Yes, no earrings. Okay, maybe it's working now. Well, hey, everybody, this is Leigh Mackenzie, one of the top Christian mommy bloggers on the internet. She's real. She's raw. She's bringing it today. She is the proprietor of The Church Girl Writes at thechurchgirlwrites.com. And if you go to thechurchgirlwrites.com, you'll see where you can pick up a copy of her new fabulous ebook that we're going to be talking about today, dealing with the green-eyed monster, encouraging women to no pecking. This is a no pecking zone. And she's on staff at a mega church and makes it her business to make others look good for the glory of God. So with that, I can hear you. You can hear me. Yes. We are rejoicing. Why don't you share a little bit about your heart for women, and then we'll dive in. I want to dive into how we met. Yep. I want to go through your 7 steps.
Okay.
And let's do this thing.
All
Tell
right.
us a little bit about your heart for women.
So my heart for women, I remember a long time ago, I didn't have a whole lot I was in the military. I've always been in male-oriented kind of jobs almost my entire life. And I never had a whole lot of women around me. And I remember when I came to Christ, I prayed to God, just, Lord, you got to surround me with women. I just want to be around other women. I want to have a posse of my own. I just want to be the person in the group that I can lift somebody up. I can help somebody out. I can encourage or teach or train somebody. But God, just surround me with women. And it was funny because less than like a year later, here I was teaching Bible study. I had women. I had small groups that I was working with. And God really just let me see women's hearts for the first time. And I fell in love with the feminine part of the church, honestly. I believe that women, I believe that women tend to be the backbone of the church. We are the ones that
for sure.
we do the dirty work. You look at the tomb, and who was the one that was going to the tomb when they had Jesus? You know, it was the women going in on Sunday morning and doing the dirty work of ministry. And I believe that because of the humility inside of the females, oftentimes of the church, that's where we can see the miracles happen. We're the ones that hear messages and get the glory of God. We have eyefuls of the Lord, and he's in our presence. So that's my heart is for women to understand that, and that there would never be competition, only collaboration. Man, that is my soul right now. I've had my eyes scratched out by claws of the women of the church in different places. And I don't know if they meant to. I can't, only God knows a person's heart. But yeah, I've been tragically hurt by women in the church. And I made it my business that if I have ever wronged you, hurt you, I'm sorry. It was unintentional, but I will not be that kind of person. I'm not that kind of Christian woman. And so,
well, I'll take up my book, The Special Blessings Prayer.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it so
was
much.
written out of a group of women, led by a woman that I had mentored in ministry for 17 years, and a group of women that I literally had worked so hard serving that I almost worked myself to death. I almost died. I worked so hard for these women. And led by this one, they really broke my heart. They really betrayed me in the most devastating way. So I know what it is to be hurt by other women in the church. And my guess is that a lot of the women who are listening to the sound of our voice right now, who've tried to step out in their local church, in their community, and just excited, wanting to serve God, wanting to be a blessing, rather than being cheered on by other women, were perceived as a threat.
Right.
And that spirit of competition came in. I want to talk about a couple things with you, because you said something that really blew my mind, because I'd never thought about it before, about the sense that women feel like the opportunities are limited. So I want you to talk about that, and then I want to circle back around about how we met and what the first Bible study you ever did was. So remind me, I want to talk about that. But first, tell me your thought on that, because I think you really nailed it.
Well, as far as the competition inside of the church specifically, and we talked about this the last live cast, and then everything. We basically broke the internet, and both Facebook and Instagram crashed.
Take that, Kim Kardashian. We crashed Instagram and Facebook.
You're not that cool, Kim.
Yeah, we're competing with her. Wait a minute.
Wait, we're not supposed to be talking about that.
Wait, did we just compete with her? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
we showed her. We're going to go scratch her eyes out.
Kim, we love you if you're watching.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
All right, what was I supposed to be talking about in the first place now?
We were talking about your theory about why women who have these beautiful hearts, who love God, who want to serve, who are all excited, they've got these gifts, they've got a message, they're like, Lord, use me, and they show up at the local church and start pecking at each other. We have to talk about your hen sorority. And you have a very interesting theory that I, in 40 years in the church, never thought of.
Well, I will tell you what I have seen inside the church for the last, my only experience is inside a mega church. But what I've seen is that there's so much competition inside of the church among women, especially if it's in the areas that it's more of, like women, you'll always find women in children's ministry and holding the babies and doing those kinds of things. You'll see them a lot in administrative capacities. You'll see them a lot on stage singing backup or occasionally lead, but you don't necessarily see them on stage preaching in a lot of different places. And I'm not advocating one way or another, but the ability to stand up and give a word and give a teaching, to be able to speak what God has placed on your heart.
Yes.
We do not have that many opportunities inside of the church. And so when we look around and we see, well, there's already one there. You know, there's only room for one. And,
that's it.
I've been the token woman. I've been the token woman in the military, 30 years ago. I was the token woman in banking 25 years ago, and all that it was always the boys club. And so I was the one female that was allowed on the team in the room. And, you know, I look at this across not just female, but I look at it across race as well. You're the token whatever. You're the token outsider that they're letting you in. And when we look
Right.
at each other and we go, oh, that part's taken. That one
Right.
spot's taken.
That's what
when
it
the
is.
claws come out and we go, oh,
No, that's it.
she can't be, no, we got to go after her. Like, and you
She
get your
can't be
posse
the
together.
one.
She can't be
That's
the
what
single
it
one.
is. I never thought of it, but you're absolutely right. It's because it's a poverty mindset.
Yeah.
If we believed, truly believed, that there was an abundance of opportunities for women, and I mean, all the women, most of the women who come to me are like, they want to write a book, they want to speak, they've got this message burning in their heart, and they want to tell the world. And when they think there's only, like, the pie is so small and women only get one slice, then all of a sudden we got to rip each other's eyes out to be the one woman who gets that slice. And it's, you really just are onto something. And I think that's what it is. It's a poverty mindset where we feel like there's a poverty, a shortage of opportunities for women to be used by God. And that's why rather than cooperating with each other, we compete against each other. And of course, that's on top of what I already shared, this idea that men are socialized to team sports and women really, really are not socialized to team sports as much. I want to talk about how we met and the amazing experience that we had about when you realized the first Bible study you did. And then I want to talk about, and then I want to talk about the hen sorority, because you nailed me on that hen sorority, girl. It's no wonder I'm in love with you. Now all my peeps are going to be in love with you.
Oh, hysterical. Well, we met at Mount Hermon Christian Writers Conference. And
I don't even remember how.
We were in the van. Oh, I remember how. Okay, your eyelash fell off. Your eyelash, I'm like, here, let me get that for you.
Yeah. I completely forgot.
I'm like, and you're like, you and I will be friends.
That's it. You're right.
The stylist and me had to take care of you. I could not let that eyelash stay there. I'm like, I have to get it off of you.
We were at the airport waiting to get into the van, and you came over to me and said, "You have an eyelash."
Let me get Donna, let me get this.
I have it live with you. Okay.
I just could not allow you to walk around with an eyelash, nor, Donna, I would never allow you to walk around with lipstick on your teeth, a hair on your shoulder, or a string hanging out. I would not do that to you. I love you, and I would do that for any woman that I encounter. I would never let you talk to me for 5 minutes with, come on, really? That is not Christian love.
That is not love.
That is not love.
So I fell in love with you.
Yes, we fell
in love with you. So we end up being inseparable, right?
Yeah, totally. People were asking me if I was Donna Partow, and I'm like, no, that would be the girl, like the fox over here. That's the Donna.
You never told me that.
Oh yeah, I had like somebody come up to me in the professional track and say, so are you Donna Partow? And I said, no, she's the fox that's sitting next to you. Like, no, that's her.
Do you know, I'm going to tell you a hilarious story. For those who come to our Lifestyle Freedom event, the only woman I have let take my pictures for 15 years, her name is Kayla Ketchum, and she'll be doing the pictures for everybody at our Lifestyle Freedom event coming up. But here's how we met. I was doing an event in Southern California, and it was this long room. This was before Jumbotrons, 15 years ago. Huge, long room, hundreds of women. And so I finished speaking, and you know me, I'm like praying for people. Hi, we can see your hotel.
There we are.
So I'm praying for people, doing what I do. I finally get to the back of the room, and there's a woman at my book table signing my autographs and posing for pictures. I'm like,
I would never do that to you, Donna.
I'm like, it's Kayla. She looks so much like me.
Oh my God.
They thought she was me. And
That's
so
hilarious.
she's signing my autograph in these books and posing for pictures with people.
How do I look? Do I look Donna-esque today?
Oh my gosh. And she was just so hilarious that I had to look. So I brought her up on the platform and introduced her as my sister. And those women to this day think, that she was
You have a sister.
my sister. So that's how we met. And she's like, no, I'm a photographer. And it was in Santa Cruz. And so we went outside and she did a photo shoot for me. and, put me at ease, and we just bonded. And she's been my official photographer. She's done all my book covers, back, front, websites for
That's
15
awesome.
years.
That's awesome.
That's
Well,
for
there
sure.
you go.
So, but you had never heard of
The Donna.
Partow,
Okay,
right?
so the funniest thing is that you and I started talking. We're inseparable. We're going everywhere together. And I'm just like, so you've written a couple of books.
Couple.
Just a couple. And lo and behold, you're like, I said, well, name some books that I know I have to have heard of them. And you said, Becoming a Vessel God Could Use. And I went, what? Wait, what did you say? And I realized in that split second that was the very first Bible study I had ever done. And I had gone to my girlfriend Jill Schute's house. And I was like, this is weird, because I was not a Christian. I was a non-believer until I was 30 something years old. And I just remember going, I'm like, this is so weird. I'm going to somebody's house. We're talking about Jesus and we're reading a book and it's not the Bible, but I don't even know anything about the Bible. And it's Donna Partow's study. And I will tell you something, it was so hysterical. I sat there and was like, when I realized the first Bible study I had ever done was yours, I almost flipped a widget. I mean, I was so freaked out. I had to text Jill in one of the sessions and say, Jill, what was the name of that book that we first used? And she sent me a copy of the front of the book.
Sent you a picture.
Donna Partow on it. I'm like, oh my goodness sakes. You got to be kidding me. Divine.
So
it was a divine intervention.
It was meant to be. And we had been inseparable for days.
Yes, we
have. You didn't even realize that it was my book that God had used. So I'm kind of
so cool.
God's
cool.
no-name girl. The important thing is the message, not the person. And
Amen.
I think that was kind of symbolic. It's not about me. It's about the message that God birthed in me. And I think that right there will preach a sermon to somebody. Oh. You don't need to know me. What you needed to know is the message that God had put in my heart for you. Oh, so you good. Really nailed me. So here, and I do want to get to your 7 tips. So you and I are walking along, and we have this moment where I have a little bit of tell us about the hen sorority.
All right, so we were talking about competition and just sometimes how inside the church it can be hard. It can be rough. And the interesting thing, I realize there's a tie between hens and how it's that chicken behavior. And what happens with chicken behavior is that with the hens, there's always a pecking order. Always in any like flock. There's
and you
always
have a flock.
And I've had a flock. And there is always a pecking order. And people, you know this, we talk about it's modern vernacular. And what happens is you have the alpha female or the queen bee, and she essentially establishes her dominance over all the rest of the flock. And then from there, the rest of the flock has to determine who's at the next level. And the way they do this, and the way it's been manifested in my flock, is that they'll just peck each other. I mean, they will literally peck at the comb. I had one little girl, Hetty, like she was bleeding on the comb. She had her eye pecked out one time because it was just this vicious thing. And as soon as hens see blood, they go for the kill. I mean, a flock will actually murder one of its sisters because they don't know when to stop. They just keep on going, and they will peck her to death. And like I said, my little Hetty lost an eye, poor little girl. But what's even more interesting is another behavior that my girl Silky did was as soon as she started bleeding, she knew she had blood and she knew she was in danger. So what she did was she would go and rub her face in the dirt.
Wow.
I mean, that's a whole nother sermon to preach.
Wow.
About what we can actually do to damage one another.
Wow.
Will you go rub your head in the dirt? Sorry. Oh,
guys, if you're hearing Leigh, can you hit the heart button because it's frozen on my screen? Can you guys just hit the heart button? And I've mentioned that my Facebook is new to my peeps, so I have to encourage them. Keep hitting the heart button.
Oh, good. You guys hear it.
I know. Yes. That's the only way I know that you're hearing it. So if you keep those going, then we can keep the flow going. And that's what we're just going to be transparent because you and I are both really, really real to the point of raw. That's what I said to you. I was kind of picking up that some women were feeling threatened by me because Steve Lobby was there, who was my acquisitions editor, and he's bragging on me, and so
we saw it happen.
I start to feel the attacks coming. And I said to you, I said, well, then what I try to do is not seem threatening. And that's when you said, Donna, then you just drew blood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the story of my experience in the church, is that when I feel like other women are threatened by me, then I bleed.
Yeah.
And I let them see me bleed. And then rather than them saying, oh, she's bleeding over there, she's not a threat, let's back off. They go in, and it's really just true.
Yeah.
It's really, really just true. Here's an interesting thing. I also had a flock of chickens. And we had the one who is being pecked to death. We removed her. We kept her separate. We healed her completely. I mean, she was plucked completely. It was horrible. Completely restored her, healed her, put her back in. You know what happened?
Did it again?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
All over again.
yeah.
Because it's something inside of that hen that doesn't believe she's worthy, that will kind of do what I did. We had, those of you who missed it, we had a wonderful session with Yolanda Perry. If you go to donnapartow.com/show, you'll see all the prior episodes. If you scroll down, I think it was episode number 3, she talks about being so worthy and believing that you're someone worth sowing into. You're someone worth investing in. And even for Holy Spirit to invest in you, and for other people to invest in you, and to have the courage to believe that about yourself. Because if you don't, it kind of puts you in a very vulnerable place. Now, ideally, women will come to the place where we're not pecking each other.
Right.
But meanwhile, back in the real world, we'll have to have another episode with you, Leigh.
Back at the ranch, right?
Yes, we're going to have you back. And we're going to have to talk about how women can strengthen themselves against that. But for today, I really want to talk about these 7 tips you have for women to get set free from really you call it the agony of comparison, because it really is an agony. It's like you're looking at this woman, you're looking at that woman, you're comparing yourself, you're comparing your marriage, comparing your kids. It's an agony. It's like an emotional torment. So you had 7 tips that are going to set us free, and you have a booklet. You have now like an ebook.
All because of you. You helped me out with it. It was so good.
Of course.
So
of course.
good.
If they go to the churchgirlwrites.com, the churchgirlwrites.com, they'll see the link where they can download their copy of these 7 points where you kind of dive deeper into them. But go ahead and share. What's the first one?
So the first step is get over your dang self.
Oh,
I mean, like, get over you. Quit being so selfish when it's always about us. Comparison really comes back to, it's all about me. Like, I'm against them, and there's a whole lot of I in the comparison game. And when there's a lot of me in the game, there's going to be a problem. It's either going to be, oh, I'm so much better. Yeah, to compare is to despair. Honestly, that is true, because you're either going to look at yourself and think, I'm so not as good as they are, which is not a good place to be. Or you're going to sit there and look at other people and go, oh, I'm so glad I'm not her. And either way, it is ugly. And either way, particularly as a Christian with the Holy Spirit residing inside of you, the only person we should be comparing ourselves really to is Jesus. He's the example.
Yeah, either way, it's pride, and pride can hide. I gave my confession at the beginning that pride, there's the prancing, peacocking pride, but insecurity is pride too. False humility is pride too. It's still about me. It's still focused on the big I. And I love what you said, that compare is to despair. Right. And so somebody ought to make that into an infographic.
Yeah, someone just did it.
Is to despair. You're preaching good. You're preaching good.
So we got to focus outward instead of inward. And I think that's really, when you stop thinking about your dang self so much, I think that is your turning point, is when you stop thinking about you. Ooh.
Here's a great prayer. Lord, set me free from a life that's all about me.
It even rhymes.
Lord, set me free from a life that's all about me. And I think that part of why Jesus came and why Jesus died is to give us something larger than ourselves to live for. And it's available, it's right there for us. And all we have to do is be willing to step into it. Okay, I love that one.
True.
So what's number 2?
So number two is you got to take an inventory. You know, a lot of times this is just my personal experience. I'm sure nobody else in the church has ever done this before.
Yeah, no, not me. I'm sure I haven't.
Never.
I already know I haven't.
Nobody's done this. But I remember when I was first coming into Christ as a new believer, and I would look around, I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone's so amazing. Like, oh, I love her gift. Oh, she's so good at hospitality. Oh, she always knows the right thing to say. Oh, I want her gift too. Oh man, she's really good at this. And I would covet everybody else's gifts.
Yeah. Can I have all of them?
I want them all, and I want them in the same abundance that every single individual is manifesting them. And what I realized was that, God gave you what he gave you. You just gotta grow it, you know? And
you be you, girl.
Totally. And so one of the things that I talk about in the ebook is take a spiritual gifts inventory.
I really agree with that.
If you don't know, like I remember, again, as a newbie, as a brand new Christian, and then I did it again. It changes. Your gifts change as you mature and grow, and as the body needs different things too. And so take the spiritual gifts inventory. I have a link in the ebook.
You do.
And it just really helps you go, oh, okay, I'm focusing on the gift that I've been given right now. God bless everybody else. Man, that huge. And instead of going, oh, huge. I want that, or oh, I want to be better than her, go, man, Donna, I love what I see in you. How about we speak encouragement into existence, particularly with our women, and say, I love how you pray. I love how you write. I love how you're transparent. I love how you have power in the spirit when you pray. How about we do that instead of going, man, I wish I had what she had. There's such a difference in perspective when we can really cheer one another on instead of tear one another
and
up.
I think there's peace and there's freedom in recognizing that, hey, wait, I do have some gifts.
Yes.
You know, it's like, okay.
God gives them out to everybody.
Yeah, and when you're trying to be someone you're not, and you feel like you're falling short, and that you're always failing, that's when you're tempted to look around at other people.
True that.
And compare.
That's a heart.
And
give the hearts, people. That's a good one.
Again, it comes back to humility of just saying, look, that's not my strength. Yeah. You know, people think because I'm a choleric, sanguine, I can be outgoing. I do have a part of me that, needs to refill and refuel in solitude, which kind of an introvert characteristic. But people assume that because of that I must be a leader. No! We were just talking about this morning. I am not a leader.
You're a leader in a different way.
No, I am never going to manage a big team. I'm never going to build a big ministry. And I used to say, you need to be like Joyce Meyer, or you need to be like this person, or you need to be like that person. I didn't have those gifts. I don't have managerial skills. I don't have team building skills. No, it's not my gift. And that's okay. And I think there's freedom in saying, you be you. You do what God has gifted you to do. And just know it's a gift from God.
Yeah.
So that no one can boast, just like our salvation. And so there's nothing to brag about, but there's nothing to despair about either, because God gave those gifts to other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And, and it comes also back to, we're looking at our spiritual gifts, and this really plays into the next point, Donna, is where do you fix your eyes? Are you fixing your eyes on the author and perfecter of our faith? I mean, if you aren't, you might be looking around at others and just being like, oh, come on, God, why didn't you make me like this? Why didn't you make me like that? I wish I was like her. Or I wish I had this. And, again, if you fix your eyes on Jesus, there's nowhere else you can compare.
Right.
There's no one you can compare yourself to except him. And he loves us and he covers us. He gives good gifts. It says in James, all the good gifts that we've ever been given always come down from the Father above. And there's no shifting shadows. There's no changing in him. And to know that you've been given something and it's given in accordance with your faith. Oh man, the King of the universe loves you, and he chose to give you something that the body of believers needs in this moment. Go grow it. Stop comparing. Go grow it.
Oh, girl, I like that. So I think that's good. We need eye surgery.
Oh, Yeah.
Some of us need to say, Lord, I need eye surgery. I need you to fix my eyes.
Yeah.
My sister had to have eye surgery.
Really?
Because when she was a little girl, her eyes were looking both ways. They weren't looking straight ahead.
Yeah.
And she needed to have eye surgery.
Yeah.
And I think some of us need to say, Holy Spirit, I need supernatural eye surgery because my eyes are wandering around. My eyes are looking left. My eyes are looking right. And Lord, I just need you to fix my eyes because they're broken and it's breaking my heart. And out of my brokenness, I'm lashing out at other women. Instead of cheering and even not lashing out, I can't fully rejoice with those who rejoice. I can't celebrate. When I hear that another woman has gotten what I want, I'm like, what? Woo, woo.
No, we should be going, rock on, sister.
Like,
you killed it. I'm so excited.
That's what I have to say. One thing that my business partner, Tamara Aragon, is just so much better at this than I am. And sometimes she'll have to say this to me because she has this great gift of faith and she has a true abundance mindset.
Yeah.
And I grew up in poverty. And I think I know that one of the things God continues to want to deliver me from is that poverty mindset. And so that when she sees anyone with any blessing, her gift of faith is like, oh yeah, Daddy gave it to them. He'll give it to me too.
Totally.
I know I'm one of Daddy's favorites.
Yeah.
So when she sees someone blessed with that abundance mentality, she's like, oh, I didn't know Daddy was giving out Oreos. Yeah, I want some Oreos.
It's like you just got to turn the click, click the dial. We're so close. We are so close. Just click the dial, just one click over. And then all of a sudden, everything snaps into place, doesn't it? If we could just take
that
the
shift.
mindset. Yep.
And she tells me that because me, left to my own devices, I see someone else getting Oreos. I'm like, well, why did they get Oreos?
Why didn't I get Oreos?
wanted Oreos. They're going to run out of, see, I was the youngest of 8 kids. And I sat to the right of my mother. And we always had 11 people at the dinner table because it was my mom, my dad, my uncle lived with us. So there were always 11 people. And the rule at our house is that anyone could invite any guest anytime. Because my mom loved to cook and hospitality. So we always had at least 11 people at the table, always. And I sat to the right of my mother. See if you can guess which way the food went, beginning with my mom.
Oh, yeah, not your way.
It went the other way.
Oh, yeah.
So every meal, I watched everyone else go before me, afraid that there might not be enough left over for me.
Oh, yeah.
And that mindset, that poverty mindset, so that when I see another woman and she's getting a book contract and she's got her podcast or she's got a radio show or something great's happening for her, her child, my new thing, her child got a godly husband. I'm like, where are my godly in-laws, son-in-laws? And I know, no, seriously, this is a real question. Where are my sons-in-law? Where are my grandkids?
Yeah.
I know, I'm bringing it straight up.
You are.
Okay.
And
are there going to be enough godly son-in-laws left? But no, I'm serious. I'm just like, by the time it gets around to me and my girls, it seems like all the godly guys are taken and we're going to get some cold leftovers.
Well, and I wonder how many of the people that are watching this or listening to this later are going, oh my gosh, yes, finally someone's speaking up about this. I mean, honestly, if you guys are, get it going and show us, because I feel like that this is not an unusual mindset inside of
it's not.
Communities, inside of culture.
We're all the same.
And definitely it's reflected inside of the church all the time. I think we've all kind of been in that sort of situation. I think it's a rare person that is totally comfortable, confident, especially women, but that's just maybe because I come from a place of insecurity, but I think that mindset makes a lot of sense, Donna.
And yet
it resounds with me.
El Shaddai.
I know.
He's the God of more than enough.
Oh, God, I'm on 1,000
He's
hills.
the God of more than enough. It's not like there's a shortage. I mean, there's 7, once in a while in my senior moments, I'm like, okay, there's 8 billion
Wait, you're only 28 when you're talking about senior moments.
Yes. There's 8 billion people on the planet. So there's not a shortage of people who need what you carry.
Oh,
There's, you know,
something about a harvest and not very many workers. I mean,
plentiful.
someone said that was really, really like of God. I recall.
Yeah.
Come on, people. We got it. We got it. There's
good.
more than enough. There's more than
really
enough.
Good, really powerful.
Use it.
We
Use
need
it according to your
find
faith.
a way to believe that. And, you know, the hen sorority needs to believe, look, our owner loves us. There's going to be lots more chicken feed tomorrow.
Yep.
No need to pick each other's eyes out over it. We've got a good father. I think we have to go listen to that song. So we're on number 4. How are we doing on time? Oh, girl, we better step it up.
Oh, okay.
Number 4.
Super fast. Number 4 is social.
My fault.
Social media. We're having a good time. What can we say? Social media. And I am not ever advocating to quit social media. We're on it right now.
We're on it right now.
And social media is it's a really powerful platform for us as Christians to be able to connect with other Christians, to encourage one another in love and good deeds, and all the more as we see the day coming. But here's the thing, especially, and I do Instagram a lot, and there have been times when I've been on Instagram where I'm like, oh man, she looks good. And I get like, kind of like, ooh, you know, I get this little monster. I call it the comparison monkey. Starts coming up, you know, he crawls up my shoulder and starts like pulling on my ear and going, oh, look at her. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh man, she looks good. Oh man, she's so smart. Oh man, she's got the better words. And there was a point at which I was like, you know what? There are also people that have actually hurt me. And I follow them and I know other people have done the same exact thing. Like, well, what are they doing? Well, what are they doing? And finally God just really convicted me. You got to stop that. You know, when you look at something and you're like, that makes me feel like I gotta, or I've got to make a little snarky response. And praise God, I hope I've never done the snarky response. My husband has taught me well, but snarky little, well, aren't you so lucky? Or, boy, you sure do look good in that, you know, whatever you have, or whatever that is. And I just really had to just go, you know what? I got to step away. I love you. Praise God. I'm not going to look at this anymore. And I'm not going to put that in my feed to make me feel defeated. Because that's really what it just makes me feel like. Or even, you know, feel old or feel irrelevant. Old and irrelevant are 2 words that have been going out of my mouth lately. And I'm like, I got to cut those out of the vocabulary.
We bind that in Jesus' name. You know what it is? It's comparing your inside to someone else's outside. It's comparing your reality to someone else's completely filtered. It's like that one moment at the family gathering that everyone got together and acted like they were having fun, and the rest of the time they're ripping each other's throats out. I mean, so you have to kind of take it for what it is. You have to understand. And the other thing is, and again, everything comes back to pride versus humility. Yeah. It's looking at someone who maybe has contended in the spirit, who's labored. I mean, I think about people I know, like they're contending. They're on their face before God for hours each day. They're up at 4:30 in the morning, diligent, developing skill, labor, you know, walking in faith. And we look at that and compare like where we are with where they are. You know, I think Joyce Meyer is the one who said something like, don't be jealous of someone who has something that you're not willing to pay the price to have. And she says it better than I just did. And I'll have to go look that quote up because it really, really is very, very salient. Don't envy something that you're not willing to pay the price to have. And I think that there's a lot to that. You know, that woman who's like super fit, guess what? And I struggle with this too. I'm like, well, how come she looks like that? And then I have to just say, because she eats less and exercises more than I do. Yes. That's why. Am I willing to pay that price? And if not, okay, that's fine. And
we make our choices, don't we? We make our choices.
Life is trade-offs, and it's be well balanced. Okay, because your enemy, the devil, prowls around looking for someone to devour. And the truth is, we can't wait. One of my mentors always used to say to me, Donna, you can't wage battles on all fronts. And sometimes I just had this conversation with someone last week who is discouraged about her weight. And I said, so what do you have on your plate for the next 6 months, for the rest of this year? She's like, well, I want to finish a book and I'm starting a new job and I'm moving. And I'm like, you know what, friend to friend, can you do me a favor? Can you lock your scale away?
Yeah.
You can take it back out on January 1st. But right now, you've just told me that you've got some huge priorities that really matter to you. And you can just choose, like, right now, like, so if you're comparing yourself to where someone else is in her career, just stop and say, you know, I'm choosing right now to be focused on my family in this season.
Right.
And that's a choice that I've made. I can't do all things right now, but this thing that I am doing right now, I'm going to do with excellence, and I'm going to give it all that I've got. We're on number 5. What's number 5?
All right. So number 5 is friend or frenemy. And this is the since we're using chicken terms, this is the culling of the flock. There are certain people that I've realized I mean, I'm almost 50. So over these years, I have kind of realized that some friends aren't really friends. And that's why we have this word frenemy. You go out to lunch with them and you're like, oh, dang, I need to get some Botox done. Like, oh, geez. Like, I am like, she's got the lips, and I'm like, I just feel like dumping next to this person. Or maybe it's they make you do things, or they encourage you to do things that you regret later, and then they throw it back in your face maybe. And it's really I know lots of people that have huge friend groups, but they're not really your friends. They're people you hang out with. They're people you are social with. But a friend is something very, very specific, very, very special. And, you know, there's no greater love than, you know, to lay your life down for your friends. And if people around you are making you feel ugly or bad or stupid or negative or like less than, anytime I'm feeling like less than, I've got to examine my heart and go, what is making me feel less than everybody else here? Is it my issue? Or is this all the time we get together? And if it's your job to like build that person up all the time, but yet your friend never seems to be there for you, I just go, we only have so much space and time in our lives.
It's really good. It's hard.
We don't need to be friends with our enemies. And we need to love them and we need to pray for them. But I've had to just put up boundary lines for people that I'm like, you're just eating my lunch. That's all you're doing. This doesn't feel good anymore. And you try to be that loyal friend, but they're never loyal for you. You're always there for them. They're never there for you. We got to start making an understanding.
It's hard.
It's really, really, really
You know, the best example that I give from scripture that has really helped me a lot, it's like Jacob and Esau. They reconcile, and Jacob gives him gifts. He's like, I bless you. I don't have any hard feelings towards you. I'm clean. We're clear. We're good. And Esau says, hey, you want to be best buddies and live next door? And Jacob says, yeah,
I don't think so.
So, yeah, that's kind of the model.
Perfect,
okay?
Yeah.
You know, yes, we bless you. We're like, give him a present. We're reconciled.
Oh, yeah.
There's no hard feelings. My heart is clean. But no, we're not going to be no, we're not going to be besties.
Yeah.
We're not going to spend all our time together. And this is really hard, but I do think that comes with age,
yes,
I think.
I agree.
Because I used to have, an entourage, all these people around me. Anyway, you learn.
Yeah.
Some of that just, I think, comes with maturity. But
right. And be okay to be alone. I mean, sometimes depending on where you are, like when I was at the military academy, no one's your friend. Like your freshman year, no one's your friend. Everyone's just trying to get through it. And it's a competition. You're with the creme de la creme and you are not safe. You are not making friends there. You are competing there. And so that's carried over for me a lot of times to just go, I'm fine not going out to lunches and being invited to everybody's party. I'm okay being
what a friend
solo.
we have a friend in Jesus,
yep.
right?
Yeah, man.
What a friend we have Jesus in our friend, and there are seasons that God takes us and pulls us back. If you look at the even Jesus, there were times he's like, I'm gonna have to withdraw. I love you guys.
Yeah.
He had his 3, right? His inner circle. He had his 12. Yeah. He didn't spend all his time with the crowd, and sometimes he just withdrew and said, "He's at 40 days." He's like, I just need to be completely alone with my father. So I think that that's a balance for you. Number 6.
Yep. Number
Let's
6.
We've got 2 more.
Okay, we've got 2 more. Mommies. Okay, if you're a mommy out there, you got to listen to this one and you got to read this one, because it is, don't play the game that has been played for years on every playground. Don't play the child comparison game. And do not allow your how you raise your kid or what your kid is doing to become your entire identity. You know, I was not a very confident mom when I first had my son.
Is this about my son? Is this about me? Is this about me wanting my future sons-in-laws to be perfect?
Maybe so. No. This is about, I remember being on the playground and I raised my son with a friend, and she was like a doctor's wife, a pediatrician. Everything she did was always right. And her daughter was perfect. Like, she was amazing. I still love her to this day. But I just remember feeling like, oh gosh, my kid's like picking his nose over here, or, you know, he's jumping. Well, Julie never actually picked his nose like that, but like he was jumping everywhere. He was crazy.
Shame. We have mom shame.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, no.
You know, he would say stuff about poop, you know, and it was always like, well, and even with other moms, it was like how their kid had already, you know, mastered 3 languages by the time their kid was 2. Like, Julian, he's got pretty good language, but mommy, I gotta go pee-pee. You're like, yeah, I'll be right back, you know. And I remember just feeling like I suck as a mom. And I'm sorry, if you know me for very long, I'm a straight shooter on pretty much everything. I just felt like I sucked. And I hated feeling so defeated as a mother constantly, because I was comparing the job I was doing, and it was the only job I was doing as a stay-at-home mom. You'd think I'd be better at this. Like, I just would pummel the heck out of myself when I would look at everybody else's kids. And they were so perfect and well-dressed and didn't have mustard stains down the front of their shirt. And they weren't muddy because they had jumped, you know, in a puddle, and like all these other things. And, or things like, you know, their kids weren't jumping off the couches at play dates like my kid was. And so, you know, my kid was the wild kid. He had a lot of energy. He was an alpha male, firstborn, whatever. But I just felt like it reflected on me as bad mommy. You know, and I'll tell you, there is absolutely nothing wrong with moms being super proud of their kids. I'm super proud of my kids, and if you give me a second, I'll tell you all about them. But want to make sure that when we start feeling ugly inside, because we're the ones playing the comparison game, oftentimes those other moms, it's not their issue, it's my issue. I'm the insecure one. That's when the comparison monkey bites you hard. And I've had to learn to go, you know what? I love you. I'm so glad that Johnny got his admission into Oxford and, you know, Harvard and Yale. I'm
at age 10.
At age 10. That's incredible. He must have scored a perfect score on the ACT too. And I just got to go, God bless you. That's awesome. Good for you. Well done.
You know what? And here's the thing is just believing that, coming back to what you shared about how God gives different gifts to different people, that God handpicked your children.
Yeah.
And he gave you the children that he wanted you to raise.
Yeah.
And he gave you what you needed to pour into your child.
So
and
true.
that if God wanted you to have a child capable of that level of academic achievement, then he would have placed within you everything that you, because he's the God of abundance, he would have placed within you everything that you need to make that child who they want to be. God handpicked your children. He hand fashioned them in your womb, or I know in your case you have an adopted child.
Yeah.
He hand fashioned them in their mother's womb and ordained that they were to be in your household. God has appointed all of that, and he's given you exactly what you need to raise your children, who are meant to grow up and be who they uniquely were designed and created by God to be. And
that's so good.
We rest in that. It comes back to, again, it's not about us. Last one, and this has been wonderful. Everybody, I want to tell everybody that my guest today has been the fabulous, the real, the raw, the stunning, the amazing church girl, right? Leigh Mackenzie. And you can get a copy of her new handy dandy ebook. And what's the full title of it?
7 steps to be set free from the agony of comparison.
7 steps to be set free from the agony of comparison. You can find that. It's a free gift on her website, thechurchgirlwrites.com. She's one of America's top Christian mommy bloggers. It's a really fun read. She's a great writer, shares very openly from her life, and I just love her to pieces, and I'm so honored that God brought you into my life. I just fell in love with you immediately and knew that my peeps would love you as well.
Thank you so much.
What's your last little tip?
So the last little tip is live intentionally. Live it intentionally and be the best you can be wherever you are in whatever it is you're going to do. It goes back, it kind of encompasses everything else that we've talked about. And that is, if you've been given a gift, grow it. If you've been given a circumstance,
huge,
change it. Like change it or live in it to the fullest with Christ. And I just feel like that is the thing to do.
Huge.
Wherever you are, do it.
Huge.
Get her done, kids.
It's the most important one. Of everything that you shared, I think that one's the most important one, because when you're so busy being faithful to what God has called you to do, you don't really have time. If you are fully present with the assignment of God on your life in this season, not looking back to the past season, not wondering what God's going to do in the future season, but humbly, self-sacrificially being fully present in it to win it in whatever season you're in right now. Ain't nobody got time for that. You don't have time for numbers 1 through 6. They become a non-issue, but they're great, so read them anyway. But this one is the most important one. When you are when you can look in the mirror in the morning, and say, you know what, I'm going to stand before kings, because God, the Bible says, do you see a woman skilled in her gifts? Skilled in her work, she's going to stand before kings. Just wake up every day. I am diligent. I am faithful. With God has given me a little. I'm going to be faithful with that little. And when God is ready in His time, in His way, He's going to make me ruler over much. I don't know if I'm going to be ruler over a school. I don't know if I'm going to be ruler over a community. I don't know if I'm going to be ruler over a Facebook group. I don't know if I'm going to be ruler over the New York Times bestseller list. I don't know what I'm going to be ruler over, but I'm going to be faithful in a little right here, right now, today, with what I have. And I'm not going to worry about what someone else has and what they're doing with their gift and what God's doing with them and where none of it matters. The only thing that matters is you living your life before an audience of one and being faithful now, today, now, this moment. What are you going to do today with the gifts that God has given you? What are you going to do today with the people that God has brought into your life? What are you going to do today to bless the circle of influence that you do? Don't worry about that Instagrammer with 1 million followers. What are you going to do today for the 5 relatives who do watch you on Facebook? Right. That's the question. Be faithful in a little, faithful in a little, faithful in a little. God is not a liar. God is not a liar. At just the right moment, He will make you ruler over much, the much that He has planned, ordained, purposed, and created for you. That thing that you are uniquely qualified to take authority over, God will hand it to you.
Amen. Yeah. Okay, I would push I want to push the heart button, but let me tell you, I would have messed it all up. Woo! Woo! Hey Renee, what's up, girl? Yes. Donna, that was a message. I love you, girl. Oh, bless my soul hearing that today.
Anything you want to share about being undone in the chapel, and then we'll wrap. We're over time.
Oh my goodness, no false friends. No false friends and no false moves is all I remember that time with the chapel when you were praying, girl.
God gave me a word for her. No false friends, no false steps. I want to pray that for everybody right now.
Amen.
So Lord, I pray right now for the person who's tuning in. I want to pray right now for the person who's tuning in. And the revelation that God gave me on the comparison trap, we had taken a little homeless girl. Both her mom and her dad had gone to prison on the same day. We took her in, little 12-year-old girl, illiterate. We found out she was a great runner. and she began to train at her local school to compete in a 100-meter race. And she'd been timed. She was the fastest girl in that school. And I remember the morning of the race, I said, this is the key. Don't look at the other runners. Fix your eyes on that finish line. Run your own race. She's like, I got it. I went to the grocery store, picked up a bouquet of flowers because I knew she was going to win.
Yes.
The gun went off. That girl turned her head to the side. She ran the entire race with the head to the side, and she finished dead last. And at the end of the race, I wrote down the winning times. She was faster than all the other girls, but she came in last place because she ran her entire race with her head to the side. And I just want to say right now to everyone who's listening to the sound of my voice, God, there's a race that God has appointed you to run. And this is your moment. And right now, the gun is going off, and God is saying, just fix your eyes on the finish line. Run your own race. Run with intensity, excellence, diligence, integrity, excellence. Give it everything that you've got. Run full out. Run full throttle, everything that you are. But keep your eyes, fix your eyes on Jesus. Keep your eyes on the finish line. Don't look at the other runners, because if you do, when you look at the other runners, you're distracted by false steps and you're deceived by false friends. Fix your eyes on Jesus, and the Holy Spirit will guard your heart. He will guard your steps. He will guide your steps, and he will protect you. He will protect you. He will guard you. He will be your rear guard. He will go before you, and he will protect you from false steps that will waste your time and false friends who will waste your energy.
So true.
And that's the word of the Lord today. I want to remind everybody that today's episode was brought to you by the Special Blessings Prayer. You can go to specialblessingsprayer.com and register. That class is available free for the month of August, and I'm going to be doing a live supernatural heart surgery at the end of August for those who are participating
It's
in that.
such a good book. You gotta buy it. I'm dying. It's the only book, Donna, that I have finished in I don't even know how long. It is so good. It is so good.
Get the book.
Okay, sorry.
Want to remind you, no, we'll take an address. Want to remind you that if you want to check out Leigh's ministry, The Church Girl Writes, get a copy of the printed version of the 7 tips that she just kind of shared with us today, you can go to The Church Girl Writes. Also want to remind you that if you're joining us late, as soon as this show is over, it will start all over again on Facebook. Also, replays of this episode and all prior episodes are available at donnapartow.com/show. So hop on over there. You'll be able to watch this episode in full, in perpetuity, and you can catch some of the other prior episodes that have also been absolutely fantastic and anointed by God. Love you.
I love you. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. Love you.
Love you to pieces. Excited to see what God's going to do in your life in the coming days. Church Girl Writes the truth.
Peace.
Love you. God bless. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.